Hello guys, today I'm gonna be showing you how to make your own sauerkraut. You will need a knife, cabbage, salt, something to store it in, and something to knead it in. You want to start by cutting the cabbage in half. After you cut it in half, you want to remove the hard part. You can do it like this, by cutting it out from half the cabbage, but that's not the efficient way. The best way to do it is by cutting it again in half, and then cut the hard piece out of it. Now you remove the hard part more efficiently. So you quarter it, and as you can see, there's still the hard part in. Now I remove it completely, like this. Now that you have your four parts, the next thing you will want to do is weigh it. You need to know how much grams of cabbage you have, so you can calculate the salt you need per 100 grams of cabbage. You want to add 2 grams of salt. What I have here is 1300 grams of cabbage, so after cutting I will add 26 grams of salt. Start cutting the cabbage thinly. You want it as thin as possible. Make sure you have a sharp knife. And also watch your fingers while cutting. You cannot do this with a dull knife. Now, you want to put it in this so you can knead it. You will add the salt. I have 2 batches, so I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in this one and the other half of salt in the second batch. The reason you do this is so while kneading, the water will be drawn out of the cabbage. Make sure you have a glove, because I cut my nails and every piece of salt will just hurt. Knead the cabbage as hard as you can. Don't be afraid. The point of it is to break it so that the moisture comes out. And that moisture is very important in the process of making sauerkraut. You want to press it almost as hard as you can so you break it. It has to break, otherwise the moisture won't come out. Now, you leave this to rest for half an hour while you get the other batch. In the other batch, you do exactly the same. I already pre-salted it. So, you put the other, unless you have a big pot, you have to do it in batches. So, the same process is also for this. Break it, knead it as hard as you can. And while doing it, also mix it so the salt gets everywhere. So, this batch is also done. And the salt and the salty water acts as a preservative. Here we have 2 batches, and as you can see, after half an hour, it's dripping. You want to press it a little bit. You need as much water as possible, salty water, because all of this cabbage, once we put it in the pot, will have to be under the water so that it doesn't mold. Here we have the pot. these are the weights that you put on top of it, and this will put out the gas. You have to air it. It has to air, and this does it automatically. You never want the pot fully sealed. It has to air out. Or if you have a fully sealed pot, you have to open it every day. Now, you take the cabbage and you put it in the pot. Now this can get messy because it's all wet and stringy. But you do it little by little. And after you place it in the pot, you put the pot down and you have to use your fist to press it fully down. It has to be tightly packed. You can see how much moisture comes out the longer you leave it in the salt. Keep pressing and pressing and pressing. It needs to be tight. Pressing, pressing. And then what you want to do is add the rest of the water. So I haven't put any tap water or any water in it. This is all from the cabbage. You want to make sure to put everything in it. Give it one last press so that it's all tightly packed. And the water has to be above it. Hence we use the weights. You see, a lot of moisture has come out the cabbage. You want to take the weights and press it down a little bit. You can also add a plastic bag filled with water so that it presses the water down more. You press it down a little bit, and you have to make sure that the rest of the pot that's not under the water is clean and it doesn't have other parts. Now you put the lid on and the thing that releases the gas. The last thing you want to do is put the date, and 2 weeks from now it will be done. So it's ready to be stored for 2 weeks, and you have to check it out every couple of days so that it goes well. You can use simple pots to store it in and keep it in the refrigerator.